a really quick tuna bake, which will be really nice. And it's got a crust on top too, which I'll show you. The crust on top is a panko breadcrumb with a couple of cheese in there. I've got a parmesan and just a mozzarella in there. And we'll mix it up and I'll show you later. So a couple of things you need to do. I've got the pasta on already. Orecchiette pasta, these little cool Italian orecchiette pasta. Love those. Just to show you what to do. Now, there's been a lot of talk about nobody's seen me actually prep, so I'm just going to quickly cut these onions up and tell you what we're going to do. So, we've got the garlic, we've got a sort of a tomato-based sauce, which then just, once that's cooked and the pasta's cooked, all you're really doing is just throwing it all in together and then putting that pasta thick through with all its sort of goodness, and then we'll just put that in the oven for 20 minutes, half an hour to get that crust on top. So I've got as I said, the orecchiette's done. I've just parboiled that because we're going to have that going in the oven for 20 or so minutes. That's not going to be overcooked. That's warmed right up, that pan with a little bit of oil in there. Just the onions in, this is just that base to get it going. A little bit of garlic as well. And this is one of those great dishes, you can kind of hide anything you want in it from the kids or whoever, because you can just add in what you really want to just add in. So, turn it down on that, put it in hot, spitting. And essentially it's just a case of just adding anything. So that's just a canned tuna with oil, so you don't need to put a lot more on it. And with this dish, and with this dish you don't actually need to add any more salt because it's very salty already with the tuna, and you can just sort of leave the salt out, but you can add in other stuff. So I'm just going to add in a can of tomatoes. You could put in some other sort of bolognese sauce, but a can of tomatoes. I've got some extra tomatoes there, just some little tomatoes to get that pop of flavour as you bite through them. I really want to give it a great taste of basil, so I've got a lot of basil there. I won't use all of that, that'll go too much. And just adding it. Now I've also got some olives, which we can just dump those olives in. Some spinach as well, just a bit of spinach. So you can see there's a lot of ingredients to this. And I've also got some coriander and some leftover, this is what I'm talking about hiding, some leftover broccolini from the other night, which has been cooked in butter. So just mixing a couple of those things in and just keeping that heat going. A lot of this doesn't really need too much cooking, and essentially mixing that up. So let's just have a quick look at that orecchiette. I want to drain that orecchiette there just to, that's about 500 grams. You're probably not going to need it all in there. And once that's done, we're going to mix it up, put it all in the one dish, and then put that panko breadcrumbs and the cheese on top. And we might even, while no one's around, just squeeze a little bit of chilli in again, just to taste, not too much. Everyone complains, but that's okay. So I'm going to let that go. Final little trick, just with that saltiness, some capers. Now, not everybody loves capers, but we do. So I'm going to put in just a few of those capers, just a little spoon, a forkful there. A great little taste, that. Oh look, mozzies. Just a few of those. So you've got the saltiness from the capers, you've got the saltiness from the tuna, and you've also got the saltiness from those little olives as well. So turning that up a little bit, just mixing that through. Now if you feel that it's not wet enough, you could add a little bit of water to it, or you could add a little bit of chicken stock or tomato paste, a little bit more, whatever you want to. I think we're right there, that'll sort of break down. And once we get that going, we're going to mix in most of that pasta and then put the top on, whack it in the oven for about 180 degrees for 20 or so minutes until you get that golden crispiness on top. Okay, that's done. I really just mixed that through. I put about 3/4 of that orecchiette in there. You don't want to put too much because ultimately you're not going to use it all. Now, what I want to do is just show, I'm just going to transfer that into the oven safe dish. And try and get most of it in the bowl. Awesome. Yeah, we didn't need any more than that. Okay, so just get that rest of that goodness in. The red onions. I mean, you could add capsicum or A couple of other things in there as well, depending on what's in the fridge. You saw that I put a couple of extra bits in, like broccolini. Now, just patting it down a little bit, sort of evening it out. Right, that looks great. And just with this mixture here, just mixing it together. So you've got the panko breadcrumbs and you've got the Parmesan cheese and some of that mozzarella. I put in a little bit of pepper. Remember, you don't worry too much about the salt because of all the other ingredients that's got a lot of that salt. So I'd leave the salt out. You could put a little bit of salt on. Now, all you want to do is literally just get it to cover the top of your pasta bake. Look at that. Just try and be as even as you can, covering it up, most of it. Now, in the oven, get that going, preheat it, about 180 degrees, around sort of 20, 30 minutes, see how it goes till you get that golden crisp. If you think it's not crisp, you can do a little canola oil or something, just a little spray on top to help it with that. But that's essentially your pasta bake with tuna and a couple of other vegetables, and that'll come out soon.